Today is day 20 of my instant ramen challenge, and I'm going to attempt to make ramen candy corn Butterfinger donuts. Yes, that's a mouthful of seemingly random ingredients, but bear with me here. First, I chose these snack ramen noodles because they were already mostly broken up. I blitzed the noodles and added them to melted butter. Last year, I had trouble when I was trying to make a similar crust for a chocolate chip cookie pizza, so this year I'm adding some sugar, aka candy corn, to see if that helps it bind. Mixed that all up and added it to the baking sheet, patted it down, and threw it in the oven for 10 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. These are leftover candy corn from a video I filmed showing the texture of the candy. Someone had commented that it's possible to make Butterfingers from it, which is how I got this idea. I'm adding some peanut butter while letting the candy corn melt down. As I was mixing it, I just felt like I was doing some type of science experiment. I checked on the ramen crumble thingy I had going on, and it didn't seem to bake at all, so I left it in for 5 more minutes. Then I started placing the candy corn peanut butter mixture into a donut mold. My plan is to shape the crumble into a circle so it can be the crunch in the donut. When I pulled the crumble out of the oven, it looked baked, but it wasn't. I'm still missing something here to make it hard, but I'm just moving on because the candy mixture was getting cold and I needed it to stay malleable. I broke up the ramen crumble and I'm just going to layer it over the top of what I have now in the mold, and then over the top of that I put the rest of the candy corn mixture. I was getting more and more skeptical of this working out as I progressed through the steps. I plopped it into the freezer for a couple of hours and then started working on a chocolate dip. Melted some chocolate chips by microwaving in 15-second intervals. Took the donut out of the mold and dropped it into the chocolate, and I don't know why, but I started cracking up when I saw the chocolate bit in the center come up like that. Using a fork, I just flipped it and made sure it was all covered in chocolate, using a handy dandy chopstick to pick it up and place it on the parchment paper. Then I just continued the process for the rest of the donuts. The last two weren't as pretty because the chocolate started getting cold. Also, RIP to my chopstick, your sacrifice will not be forgotten. I let them sit out for a while since they were still pretty hard, and I didn't want my teeth to break like the chopstick. I was able to wait about 30 minutes before I started getting impatient. I broke apart one to see what we're working with. Not bad, but that's a lot of chocolate. It's like a brick of thick chocolate candy, and it tastes like Butterfinger. It was harder than I would have liked it, so I think next time I will up the peanut butter quantity and let it sit out for at least an hour. The taste was good. Lots of chocolate, sugar, and peanut butter. The ramen crust didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and I mostly tasted the butter from that layer, but overall, it was still edible.